Main man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. So this weekend we are on the verge, on the cusp of a very monumental fight. Monumental for a couple different reasons I like to add. But first off, at the top of the video, let it be known that this is the very last fight, the very last broadcast by HBO that's going to be put on. So if y'all want to have any sense of nostalgia, this is it, man. If any fight fans out there is going to actually miss HBO and all the great fights and the great moments that they brought us, then I think we all owe it as boxing fans to watch this fight. This may be one of the, if not the last time that we hear the broadcasting team of HBO, their style, their whole feel that they gave to fights. And what a fight to go out on, man. I got to admit, this is going to be a very good fight, man. So this is HBO's last one. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of tribute, cut scenes or tribute videos or whatnot, and deservingly so. And I'm really looking forward to it, man. We got a fight between my main man, Daniel Jacobs, versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko. And forgive me if I'm butchering his name. But these are two very talented fighters that know each other very well. Sparred over 300 rounds together, it said. This is going to be a hell of a fight, man. Both of these men have shared the same coaches in Andre Rozier and Gary Stark. And, I've always said leading up to this fight to a lot of people who's asked me about this fight that I give a lot of the edge to Daniel Jacobs because of how, Andre Rozier knows and he's coached both fighters. And we all know that Andre Rozier is rolling with Daniel Jacobs. But let's not also take out the fact that Gary Stark knows both fighters very well as well. He's been involved in a lot of Daniel Jacobs' camps. He's been involved in a lot with Daniel Jacobs, period. So I'm sure that a lot of his knowledge that he knows about Jacobs, he'll also be passing off to Sergiy Derevyanchenko. Now, let's just start off with Sergiy because I'm sure a lot of people are new to him. Very skilled fighter. Very good amateur background. Very methodical fighter, if you will. Does a lot of good things in the ring. He's one of those Ukrainian fighters that's part of the new crop, if you will. I know he's in his early 30s. But given that he's not taking much wear and tear, many beatings in his career, some say he's a young, 31 or 32. So, Derevyanchenko is a very, very solid fighter, man. Does a lot of good things in the ring. Some of the things that I like about him, like I said before, he's methodical. His nickname is like Technician, so he's known as a technician. Goes upstairs, goes downstairs, fights well on the inside. I'm most impressive with his footwork. Got very, very good footwork, likes to work the angles. And once he figures you out, he lets them hands fly. He likes to throw in combinations. Of course, he'll be dealing with Danny Jacobs. Some of the good things that he does. He has good head movement, in my opinion. Most importantly about Daniel Jacobs, he has a good stiff jab. A whole lot of dog in him. I mean, a whole lot of dog. When you hit Daniel Jacobs, he wants to hit you back. Sometimes it takes for Daniel Jacobs to be hit to have the dog come out of him. But he got a lot of dog in him, man. Good power. Stop the elite fighters early. You know what I'm saying? And I think he fights very well as the taller fighter. A lot of heart on Daniel Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a good fight. When you got two fighters that know each other so well, they say, according to Daniel Jacobs, they're more associates than friends. At least that's what they're telling us in the lead up to this fight. I think it's more than that. You don't spar a guy for 300 rounds and just say you're just associates. But according to Daniel Jacobs, he says, yo, man, we're just associates. We go in the ring, we go in camp, we get the job done, we spar, we work on things, and then we go about our day, go about our lives. When I listen to Sergiy Derevyanchenko talk, he does talk more in a, yeah, we're friends, but this is business type thing. So I think there's a much tighter relationship than they're alluding to. And, it's just, I think this is going to be a very good fight. We know that the IBF title, which is vacant right now, is currently at stake. This is the title that's been vacated by Gennady Golovkin. It was said that at the time when Gennady Golovkin was faced with the choice of having a fight as mandatory in Sergiy Derevyanchenko, he decided to vacate it and go after the Canelo Alvarez fight. But then again, I wish he would have honestly took on Sergiy Derevyanchenko. Yeah, he may have had a chance of losing in that fight and maybe losing out on the Canelo fight. But look who he chose to fight instead. He chose to fight Vanes Monterrosa. And that was a fight that nobody was asking for. We all knew what was going to happen with Gennady Golovkin in that fight. I thought Gennady Golovkin and Derevyanchenko would have made one hell of a fight. One hell of a fight. As a matter of fact, a few minutes ago, I just got finished watching the Sergiy Derevyanchenko versus Toriano Johnson fight. How he methodically broke Toriano Johnson down. Toriano Johnson is a good puncher. Earlier on, it took a minute for him to figure him out, coming in from certain angles, going upstairs. The body work was very, very solid. The inside work was awesome by Derevyanchenko. Then I watched a couple of his earlier fights. Same style, same thing, working those angles, letting his hands go, impressive footwork, constantly turning his opponents. Shows a lot of skill and technical boxing ability inside of the ring. Most importantly, the dude he got good pop. He can punch, man. That's one thing I like about Derevyanchenko, man. He can punch. Real talk. Daniel Jacobs can punch. But, like I said about Daniel Jacobs, I think he fights very well as a taller dude. You go back to his last fight against Sulecki, in which a lot of people thought that Daniel Jacobs kind of struggled through that fight. Got hit a hell of a lot in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Got sucked into a lot of brawls at different portions of that fight. But I thought Sulecki's jab was just so potent in that fight. He was popping Daniel Jacobs' head all the way back. Daniel Jacobs ends up winning that fight. He knocked down Sulecki in the 11th round. But it was a hell of a fight and a close fight. And had some people looking at Daniel Jacobs a little different. Kind of reminiscent of the Daniel Jacobs that took that L to Demetrius Pirog or maybe the L to Gennady Golovkin, even though I thought he'd beat Golovkin, but hey, that's not here nor there. But I'm just saying, the thing with Daniel Jacobs, man, that I think is going to really give him problems against, though he fights very well as the taller fighter, never as the shorter fighter, he doesn't, to me, fight nearly as well. Peter Quillen was taller than him, but Peter Quillen did something stupid and tried to jump on Daniel Jacobs, not knowing that Daniel Jacobs packs solid power. But the thing that concerns me about Jacobs going into this fight is his heavy feet. And Sergiy Derevyanchenko moves, and he will circle you. He will go to one angle, stop, boom, 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 go to another angle, boom, boom, boom. Some people, such as Toriano Johnson, they figure since he's shorter with a longer reach, just like Showtime Sean Porter is, if you will, they figure they can take a step in and try to smother a lot of his inside work. But Sergiy Derevyanchenko was always smart enough to take that step back and let his hands go, switch the angles, start all over again. And that's the thing, man. And I believe that looking at Daniel Jacobs' frame going into this fight, he's chiseled right now. I've seen some recent pictures of him. Dude cut up like a bag of dope, man. Chiseled. And whenever I see Daniel Jacobs get chiseled like that, I don't think he does it for power. I think he's already a good puncher, and he knows this. But I think he does it more so for punch resistance. Same way he did it against Gennady Golovkin. Came in that fight big, didn't want to tell everybody what his mystery weight was in the second day weigh-in because he skipped it. Some believe that he was up in the 180s, 190s. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, I think that's the reason that Daniel Jacobs does it, for punch resistance. And in this fight, he's looking solid. And I think it's mainly for punch resistance. But Jacobs with those heavy feet, he's going to have to move his feet, man, because his head movement, though it is good, he does tend to get touched. And one of the reasons that he tends to get touched, because he moves a lot at the waistline. And a fighter like Sergiy Derevyanchenko, who likes to let his hand go in combinations at times, that could pose to be a problem. That could pose to be a big problem. So we'll see, man. So people have asked me, main man, yo, which way you leaning for this fight? And I've already told them. I think I'm leaning more so towards Daniel Jacobs, mainly because of the inside knowledge of Rozier. But most importantly, I think he's doing a little bit of better preparation as well. When you look into his training camp, he actually has Toriano Johnson, a fighter who lost to Sergiy Derevyanchenko. He has Toriano Johnson in his camp. And a fighter who's not only been in the ring with Sergiy Derevyanchenko, and as well as a coach who's coached Sergiy Derevyanchenko. I could be reaching here, but I think that gives him a little bit of an edge. A little bit of an edge. There's a lot on the line in this fight for Daniel Jacobs. The IBF title is at stake. if he loses this opportunity, how would Eddie Hearn feels? That's who Daniel Jacobs is assigned to. How would he feel? I don't think that'll stop him from try to bring him on the zone, even if he loses. But will Daniel Jacobs get any big fights anytime soon is the golden question. Or will Daniel Jacobs call it quits with Eddie Hearn after a loss and say, I'm going back to Al Heyman? That's very possible. Now, Sergiy Derevyanchenko is advised by Al Heyman. If he wins that IBF title, he could be taking that thing back to PBC. Very possible. You know what I mean? And that would really hurt the plans of, say, DAZN, Matchroom Boxing, maybe even Golden Boy, I don't know, for trying to get an undisputed middleweight champion. But if Daniel Jacobs wins it, possibly takes it back to DAZN, then we talking the possibility of a middleweight champion if Canelo Alvarez plays ball. So, yo, man, this fight has a lot of implications. Not only from the historical standpoint of this being HBO's last fight, but also from the standpoint of this has a lot riding on it. And presents with the win for Daniel Jacobs maybe a possibility of seeing an undisputed middleweight champion. A lot of implications. Monumental fight, man. Real talk. I wish more people were talking up this fight. But I think, this is Sergiy Derevyanchenko's big step up. Some may say this is his moment to rise to the occasion. And he showed definitely evidence that he has the talent to do so. And he also has the heart to do so. Will it be that? He's seen, I don't believe, no fighter nearly as good as Daniel Jacobs. But however, Daniel Jacobs have seen a fighter as good as this guy. But Daniel Jacobs also a lot of people going to be talking about is, this dude has been knocked down a lot in his fights. We remember what happened with Mora. We remember what happened with Gennady Golovkin. We remember what happened with Perot. He does get hit. He makes a lot of mistakes in the ring. In the Sulecki fight, he said he made a lot of mistakes. Sulecki was piecing him up. In the Gennady Golovkin fight, made a lot of mistakes. In the Peter Quillin fight, it didn't have time to play out, so we don't know. But in the Perot fight, made a lot of mistakes. Said he was going through something by losing his grandmother at the time. But Daniel Jacobs always tends to say he makes a lot of mistakes. Even in the Moore fight, classic mistake, walking in with his hands down. Kind of gets a little too excited too fast, but I don't know, man. But he's always found a way to win. Always found a way to win. And that's one thing I got to give him, at least in most fights. But however, man, when he's had to rise to the occasion with the elite fights of his career, aside from the Peter Quillin one, he damn near lost. And that's against Perot and Gennady Golovkin. Well, this is Derevyanchenko's time to prove. Is he of the elite level? Will he give Daniel Jacobs a hell of a fight? I believe he will. I truly do. But I believe that Daniel Jacobs, by him being the taller fighter, coming in possibly as a more sturdier fighter, even though this is for the IBF, I don't even know if they're going to do the second day weigh-in. He didn't do it for Gennady Golovkin. Don't know if he's going to do it for Sergiy Derevyanchenko, or did they take it away? Some say, yo, main man, they took the second day weigh-in away, but then I see fighters still doing it sometimes. It's like an off and on type thing now. I don't know if it's a sure thing or not, truth be told. But he didn't do it against Gennady Golovkin. And looking at his size and stature in this fight, he might not be doing it in this fight. That's something I guess we got to wait and see. But interesting fight, man. Interesting fight. I'm going to lean towards Daniel Jacobs. I think he knows what's riding on this fight. I think he knows what's at stake here. I think he'll give a good effort. But I'm going to lean towards Daniel Jacobs. I think he's going to come in very prepared. Having Toriano Johnson, a fighter that can school him and maybe even spar him. And show him some of the things that he learned against Derevyanchenko. But I think Derevyanchenko gives him one hell of a fight. One hell of a fight. And I could be wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be real. If you are picking Derevyanchenko to win this fight, I can understand. I ain't mad at you. Some may even call it a 50-50 fight, truth be told. And that's just because how good that Sergiy Derevyanchenko really is. I don't think this dude is a bum by far. By far. I could be wrong. But I'm going to rock towards Daniel Jacobs due to his preparation. Due to he knows what is at stake. And I think he can rise to the occasion. But I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. So we'll see, man. Going to be a good fight. Looking forward to it. Y'all should be watching this as a boxing fan, if you're a boxing historian or whatever you may be. Given the fact that this is HBO's last broadcast, I think that means something. And given the fact that you got two fighters who know each other very well, fighting for a world championship, that should mean something too. We'll see, man. I'm looking forward to it. And come on back here for the post-fight video. To the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. Yes, sir. A star can be born in this fight, y'all. I ain't even mad at that. A star can really be born. And if that happens, great. Great. I'm looking forward to it. Only downfall to that, which may not be the biggest downfall. I mean, hell, you see Eddie Hearn is doing business with Sergiy Derevyanchenko, Al Heyman affiliated fighter. So, you know, maybe they can keep working out to where Sergiy Derevyanchenko, if he wins, he still gets an opportunity to fight some of the other champions. And who knows, maybe Gennady Golovkin, since he ducked him once, may give him an opportunity. I don't know. I don't know. But we'll see how it plays out. So to the next video. Peace out.